Well, Amber has been telling us North American stock markets trading lower as the U.S. Federal Reserve is getting down to 2 days of meetings. Investors, of course, focusing on the Fed's plan to begin pulling back on stimulus. Will they or won't they taper? Well, from a market perspective, we're joined from Chicago by Trent Wagner. He's executive director at Fox Group. Thanks so much for joining us, Trent.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
And Trent, everyone's laying their wagers now. So let's ask you, what are the chances of getting a taper, even so slightly of a small one, tomorrow at 2 p.m.?
I don't think it's great, but I'm certainly not in the camp where I'm going to rule it out altogether. Something that's gone on here recently is, at this last jobs report, the good number that we had, we actually saw the markets react in a way where good news was actually good news. What we had seen prior to that was if we had good economic data, people took that and they wanted to make sure that they understood how the Fed was going to react to that data. So if we had a good piece of economic data, people would think we might taper and the markets would come down. So that's been the problem that the Fed has really had with this whole program. I think that they're happy with where the markets have gone since they've instituted this, but the exit strategy is where it gets a little dicey for them. So if they have an opportunity to start to scale this thing back and not destroy everything that they feel they've done for the markets up to this point in time, I wouldn't rule that out. But with that said, I think the most likely scenario coming out of the announcement tomorrow is going to be strong language suggesting that the taper is going to happen sometime towards the beginning of next year. I would lay my bet if I had to in January, but if not January, I think February at the latest, pending that the economic data between now and then doesn't go awry.
And what happens to equities if that does in fact happen?
If they taper tomorrow?
If they taper in January or February, does that spell the end for the bull market?
No, not at all. In fact, I think the majority of the people out here trading this market right now are in the same camp. I would say that, what I said is certainly nothing where I'm going out on a limb there. And, anytime that happens, when you have, I wouldn't call it a consensus, but when you have a lot of people trading the market and they're thinking along the same terms, much of if news comes out right along those lines, many times it's already priced in. So I wouldn't expect, if there is no taper, to see a big move either way, as long as there's some communication indicating that based on the economic data later, that they're going to be tapering in early 2014.
Now, Trent, of course, we always hear that this is all data dependent, but we have Ben Bernanke handing off the helm to Janet Yellen. Does the transitional leadership play any role in the timing?
In my opinion, no. In fact, I think Bernanke